And it was really sad to me because the younger kids really counted on those traditions. And
Robyn Brown was never the victim. She was the architect. During the family's efforts to secure homes in Las Vegas, Robyn remained surprisingly unemotional.
And so I was like,
gives us hope.
We have major work in front of us.
Despite being told repeatedly by lawyers, realtors, and credit specialists that she might not qualify for a mortgage, she showed no visible distress.
I assumed the responsibility of the debt in order to keep the peace.
She calmly explained that she had taken on debt from her previous marriage to keep the peace.
We need to get your mid-score to 600. If we don't, this is all over.
When a lawyer warned her it would be difficult to resolve everything in time, she didn't flinch.
Still really struggling whether we're going to be able to qualify for these homes. We don't know.
In her interview segments, Robyn expressed concern that her financial past could prevent the rest of the family from moving forward with the home purchases. Still, she showed no emotion.
You have in your credit report, you have 3 different last names.
When a credit counselor informed her of her significant debt, lack of credit activity, and multiple names appearing on her report, she remained composed.
Other person saying, man, you're holding this up because you have bad credit. It's not what it is. It's like we're all working together.
In a group interview, Mary reassured her, "Nobody is judging you. We're in this together." Robyn nodded and appeared relaxed.
We had to go and take some real good photos of us.
Meanwhile, in the same episodes, Robyn was visibly excited about launching MSW Closet.
I don't think that I need to be in those photos.
She was cheerful during photo shoots and thrilled by the progress.
Homes. That's the reason we've got to do so many things, is because it's a big struggle to pay these mortgages.
In contrast, Janelle was trying to reduce house size and amenities to save money, Christine was anxious about financial strain, and Mary was emotional over wanting features like a wet bar. Robyn, however, showed no financial concern.
Because we're getting really close to the home, we can put down earnest money.
When the group discussed putting down earnest money, the original 3 wives and Cody shared their fears about the financial risks. Robyn remained silent.
I say we do it. We make an offer on the home, and we tell the kids we're making an offer on the home.
When Cody proposed a vote on whether to proceed with building the homes, Robyn immediately responded, "I do," with enthusiasm. Janelle hesitantly agreed, Christine reluctantly said yes, and Mary tearfully consented. Robyn remained upbeat and tear-free throughout. She seemed confident that the family would find a way to make it all work, including financing her new house and supporting her business. Her mood during these episodes was noticeably more positive than anyone else's. While the rest of the family was under pressure, Robyn appeared unaffected. She also showed little emotion during Truly's medical emergency and reportedly gave Cody incorrect information about the hospital, though that detail is uncertain. Throughout this period, Robyn gave the impression that financial burdens would be handled without her having to worry. Others were making sacrifices and navigating stress. Robyn remained unbothered. She often spoke about shared sacrifice within the family, yet her actions rarely reflected that principle. Her business venture may have been framed as a contribution to the family, but in practice, it served her personal goals and did not require full family involvement. Never believe someone just because they cry on camera.
I love to decorate. After I moved to Flagstaff, I did do a tree, I think the first year, and nobody was around to see it, so I quit decorating.
Mary shared how she eventually stopped decorating her home, something that once brought her joy, because no one ever visited. She was isolated in Flagstaff, and that isolation was deeply painful. Christine and Janelle recognized that Mary's decorating was more than just festive. It was an expression of love and a way to connect with family.
And COVID really screwed up everything. And it was really sad to me because the younger kids really counted on those traditions and those get-togethers, and they really...
Yet during that same conversation, Robyn chose to blame the other moms for letting go of family traditions that were, according to her, important for the younger children. But the facts don't support her version of events. By that point, Mary's child was already an adult and out of the house. Christine and Janelle each had only one preteen still at home. The only person with actual young children was Robyn herself, children she could have brought to Mary's home. She didn't.
Like, I've been following the rules. I've been doing what I needed to do because I wanted to get together with...
Despite Mary following Robyn's strict COVID protocols, Robyn didn't reach out. She didn't make plans. She didn't bring her kids around.
Can I tell you that I love you? I love you too. Please.
Mary has said plainly that it was Robyn who stopped calling. And yet, Robyn now shifts the blame elsewhere. That's not just unfair, it's disingenuous.
I want you guys to all get together so it's easy for me. I'm sorry, that's not how it works.
She also placed responsibility on the adult children, many of whom had already moved away, started families of their own, and were no longer part of the day-to-day family unit. But when families grow and evolve, it's the parents who keep the door open, who create the environment that invites their children to return. It's not up to the adult kids to navigate strained family dynamics just to recreate a holiday gathering. Parents set the tone, and if the tone is uncomfortable, the absence speaks for itself. Robyn has long expressed a desire for a village to help raise her children, yet there's little evidence she contributed that same effort to raising the others. In the early days, the family often shared meals, especially on Christine's nights with Cody. But on Robyn's nights, she sent Christine's children home so she could have exclusive time. When Robyn and her kids spent time with Mary, it was only when Mary shared a night with Cody. Once Robyn had her own dedicated time, those visits stopped. There is no indication that Mary was ever invited in return. Even in holiday planning, the imbalance was visible. Each wife had a traditional roll or dish for Christmas celebrations. Robyn had no specific responsibility aside from a relish tray, minimal participation at best. When the other wives eventually moved on and continued those traditions without her, Robyn interpreted it as something being taken away from her children, rather than acknowledging her lack of investment in maintaining those connections. Instead of contributing, she often appeared to observe from the sidelines, expecting involvement without effort. And when others stopped accommodating that dynamic, she responded with blame rather than introspection. The issues in the family are complex and long-standing, but shifting responsibility while denying one's own role only deepens the divide. They claim they're broke, then drop $1,000 on a coat? Let's talk hypocrisy.
Oh, I'm glad I brought my jacket.
So we bought
On the latest episode, Robyn appeared wearing a Canada Goose coat that retails for around $1,000. A surprising wardrobe choice considering the family's ongoing financial issues, particularly with the stalled development of Coyote Pass.
Because I save family money by really watching what I shop, by buying in bulk, by canning.
This stands in stark contrast to previous situations where Christine had to stretch every grocery dollar.
He was mad when I went from my first rental to my second rental, even though the second rental was much bigger.
Janelle ended up living in a small rental apartment, and the wives made do with secondhand furniture.
I'm going to introduce you to Robyn's house.
Meanwhile, Robyn resides in a $2 million home and wears designer outerwear, typically reserved for extreme climates, not the relatively mild winters of Flagstaff. The discrepancy in spending becomes more glaring when considering the financial control Cody exerts.
So we bought Coyote Pass over 4 years ago. We've got a big payment coming due.
While insisting there were no funds for Coyote Pass, he later produced the full payment just in time. Then, in real time, managed to pay Janelle her full share in cash. For context, Canada Goose coats have been associated with socioeconomic status, to the point of being banned in some schools due to concerns about class-based exclusion. Owning one isn't inherently wrong, but showcasing it while promoting a narrative of careful budgeting creates a contradiction that's hard to ignore.
So concerned about your need to have this home that had a pool and everything. And I really was looking at how am I going to feed my kids.
Robyn has repeatedly claimed to manage money more effectively than the other wives, yet purchasing such a luxury item raises legitimate questions about what budgeting actually looks like in this family, especially when others have made far more visible sacrifices. And while such coats are designed for the harsh conditions of northern Ontario or the Arctic, it's difficult to see their necessity in Arizona's comparatively mild climate. Robyn was never looking for a sisterhood. She was looking for a throne.
I wouldn't.
I would be great being neighbors with Janelle or Mary or even Christine.
Why is Robyn so obsessed with Janelle? It's unsettling. Beyond her own biological children and the other kids she clearly doesn't view as part of the core family, her fixation is hard to ignore.
Seems like destiny. Like we should have all been together from day one.
She keeps pushing this narrative about wanting a plural family, but her actions suggest otherwise.
Emotions, like I keep going, way, yay, we're paying off the property. Oh, wait. I mean, paying off the land meant the family would be back together.
It's the same rehearsed routine. protesting about the big house on the hill, pretending to reluctantly accept the extra 2 acres, conveniently funded from the shared family account, and dramatically insisting she didn't want legal marriage, all while enjoying the benefits that came with it, like the extended Hawaiian honeymoon with her children. Then there's the act of selflessness.
Robyn, what's the optimal lot that you want?
5 is 1, 4 is 2.
Claiming she would choose her property last, as if that somehow erases the privilege she secured from the start. Underneath it all, her real anxiety seems rooted in Janelle's influence. Cody still respects Janelle, maybe even still desires her. She held a unique place, his intellectual equal, his rational confidant. That kind of connection mattered. Meanwhile, Mary and Christine were pushed to the margins. Robyn may have married in last, but she knew how to rise fast. Robyn also directly benefited from Janelle's practicality.
What was left, because all the family money helped buy the house that Robyn's in, and they have an extra lot there, so I feel like that's kind of fair.
Like when Janelle handed over her 401k to help support Robyn's household. That financial loyalty earned Janelle tolerance, if not affection. She didn't intrude, didn't challenge Robyn, and required nothing in return. Mary tried to form a bond with Robyn, hoping it would restore her relationship with Cody. But Robyn ignored her completely. No returned calls or texts. Christine, on the other hand, had the charisma, the talent, and the love of the children, which made her a rival Robyn couldn't compete with. Janelle, though, posed no emotional threat. She was the easiest to keep around, the quietest to manage. Despite all of this, Robyn continues to perform devotion to the idea of sisterhood. Not because she truly wants it, but because maintaining the illusion helps justify the collapse of the family. If the others left on their own terms, then she remains blameless. In truth, it was never about being part of a plural marriage. It was always about being the favorite. Cody Brown's pencil comment wasn't just creepy, it was a confession.
I had a lover in college, and he was a little tryst. I was a naughty boy based on my faith. Yeah, I had a relationship in college.
Ever since Cody admitted to his so-called tryst, his comment about his son wanting to get his pencil wet feels even more disturbing. It's not just crude, it's deeply hypocritical coming from someone who clearly didn't live by the standards he now so loudly promotes. Abstaining from physical intimacy before marriage can be challenging, even for those who marry young. Cody did marry young and still didn't wait. Yet here he is taking moral jabs at his son, all while ignoring his own long history of multiple sexual relationships, conveniently legitimized by religious approval. This kind of behavior is telling.
So you guys have been dating since
last month?
With Cody, every accusation seems to reflect his own past. His exaggerated warnings about the dangers of kissing seem less like concern and more like projection.
when you kiss, their hormones go into your mouth, and it registers certain things that will stimulate both the heart and the body for other reasons, okay?
According to his logic, once hormones get involved, especially through something as innocent as a kiss, things inevitably spiral into sexual chaos. The moment he made that pencil remark, it became obvious. This was someone who had been sexually active as a teen and assumes the same of his sons.
They were going to contaminate us all. So, I mean, at one point, Garrison, who was very frustrated with how...
The fact that he directed that comment at Gabriel makes it even worse. Gabe is one of the more sensitive and thoughtful members of the family. Regardless of the nature of his relationship at the time, he appeared to genuinely care for his girlfriend. That kind of crude commentary was not only disrespectful to Gabe, but also to the young woman involved, who didn't deserve to be spoken of in such degrading terms.
You're telling me I'm never around and that I was not here before COVID.
This is part of a larger pattern. He doesn't seem to treat his adult children with the basic respect they deserve. There's no interest in understanding who they are as individuals. Instead, there's a sense of resentment, perhaps because they don't carry the guilt or shame he still seems burdened by. Even when confronted with his own youthful choices, he reframes them in dramatic, romanticized language. Tryst? Lover? These words feel like a forced attempt to elevate what was likely an unremarkable hookup into something meaningful. There's no mention of college or academic pursuits, nothing to suggest he was focused on personal development. More likely, he dabbled in school, quit, and turned to religious service instead.
Well, I adopted a faith that embraces that lifestyle.
In the end, his embrace of polygamy doesn't come across as a calling. It looks like a convenient justification. a way to legitimize having multiple partners while sidestepping the moral code he now uses to shame others. Cody Brown didn't just lose his family. He silenced his own kids. I've been missing Gwen lately, along with the rest of the grown-up kids. I watched one of Gwen's old reviews the other day, and it really stirred something.
I'm unique because I've got this weird personality. I've got my own personality.
Her raw honesty, those unfiltered reactions, she never held back. She always said what everyone else was too polite to voice, and it was like a breath of fresh air. But of course that didn't last.
You're either in complying with our standard or I'm not coming around.
Cody apparently felt the adult kids were creating bad publicity, so he shut them down. There was even talk that he tried to include clauses in TLC contracts that would allow the network to sue the kids for saying anything critical about him or Robyn. That's right, sue his own children for sharing their personal experiences. After that, the silence began.
And Tony McKelty come over and
Because we were quarantined from you anyway.
One by one, the kids pulled back. Maddie left a podcast platform after just 2 months. McKelty is still around, but she and Tony are clearly being very careful. Their content now feels cautious and sanitized, almost like filler. It's hard not to wonder what they're not saying. While no one seems to have been forcibly removed from the public eye, the context can't be ignored. Their brother recently died by suicide. It's not about assigning blame, but family conflict and estrangement certainly don't support mental wellness. And even in loving families, mental health struggles can have tragic outcomes.
So Gwendolyn's not going to be here for Christmas. I was sick during her birthday with...
Gwen notably stepped back following that loss. Whether it was due to family dynamics or her own well-being, it's clear she's prioritizing her mental health, and that choice deserves respect.
We're gonna film you going to school.
Yeah, there's guys outside.
These adult children spent much of their lives being filmed through some of the most vulnerable stages of development. They were judged, criticized, and made into public figures without really having a say.
Raul R. says, if you could go back in time and keep your life private, would you?
Maybe now they've had enough of the spotlight.
Against the Utah County Attorney for coming after us or starting an investigation for us.
There have been long-standing rumors of legal threats, cease and desists, restrictions meant to silence anyone who still profits from the show. Imagine a parent threatening their children with lawsuits just for telling the truth about their own lives. At some point, maybe they felt a responsibility to speak up, to correct the narrative when their father used the show to tell his version of events. But eventually, they may have realized that speaking out didn't change much. It only made them more of a target for judgment and criticism. Sometimes, the healthiest option is to step back from the chaos entirely, to walk away from both the person causing the harm and the environment that enables it. Robyn isn't protecting her kids, she's isolating them. And here's why that matters. Robyn truly has a talent for deflecting blame. It's almost impressive. In every situation, big or small, she manages to throw the other wives or their children under the bus, unprovoked. Take the moment they were talking about Mary's seasonal decorating. Robyn suddenly says, well, you know, my younger kids never really got to enjoy it since some of the other wives and children didn't care about it, so she stopped.
I just didn't want everybody upset if we were doing something against, like, the set rules or whatever.
What even is that? Why say it at all? Especially considering that even when others followed every COVID rule to the letter, Robyn still wouldn't let them see her kids. So now she's trying to rewrite the story?
Why?
She didn't decorate for anything in Flag.
Nobody came to my house, so why? I used to decorate for every holiday. Valentine's, obviously Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas were like big ones.
And if holiday decorations were so important to her, why didn't she decorate herself? If she really wanted her kids to experience seasonal magic, she could have made the effort. Or, more constructively, she could have reached out to Mary and said, hey, when are you decorating for Valentine's Day? The kids would love to join. Want us to bring snacks and help out? But no. Instead, Robyn prefers to make it sound like her kids were deprived of joyful traditions because everyone else failed them. It's never about her not making the effort, it's always someone else's fault. She has a pattern of acting like the other wives were responsible for making her children's lives meaningful, while she sat back and watched. And let's not forget, When Robyn joined the family, many of the long-standing traditions reportedly stopped because Cody chose to spend all his time with her. That's not on the other wives.
And then 2 nights at Robyn's, and I would rotate that way. Mary wasn't in the rotation.
And yet, Robyn barely maintained any real relationship with Mary unless the cameras were rolling. Despite that, she still expected Mary to be emotionally available and supportive without offering anything in return.
Well, it was really tough because when we moved to Flagstaff.
And about that timeline, she didn't move to Flagstaff right before COVID. She moved there in 2018.
Oh, this is not a safe conversation anymore. I'm sorry, it's just not. I'm not going to talk to you.
Mary stopped decorating because no one came to visit her anymore. That includes Robyn. So what exactly was Mary supposed to do? Decorate Robyn's house for her and leave? Robyn knows she distanced herself. She knows she didn't make the effort. But rather than acknowledge it, she shifts the narrative. Mary stopped caring, the other wives didn't value traditions, and her kids missed out because of them. It's a neat little rewrite of history that leaves her blameless. And then there's the ever-present claim of being emotionally unsafe. It's a phrase she's worn out at this point, and now Cody's picked it up too. But if her children are growing up anxious and fearful, it's not because of the other wives. It's because she's built a household on hypersensitivity, blame, and emotional instability. Robyn has mastered the art of self-victimization, and the performance never ends. Glad you stuck around till the end. If it hit the spot, hit like 1,000 here we come. I'm Elena. Be well, stay curious. Ta-ta.